When I moved into my new apartment, everything felt off. It wasn't anything dramatic, just little things. Weird drafts in rooms with closed windows, faint creaking noises at night, like the building was breathing. The place was technically modern, but it felt old, used, like it remembered other people. My cat Binks had already been on edge from the move, but there was one room he absolutely refused to go near. It was a small office space at the end of the hallway. Nothing special. No furniture yet. Light from the hallway reached inside, but even with the door wide open, Binks would stop at the threshold, fur puffed up, ears flat, and stare inside. If I tried to pick him up and carry him inside, he'd twist away and dig his claws into my shoulder. I laughed it off. Cats are weird. Maybe it smelled like the last tenant. But I'll admit, the room gave me chills too. It was always cold in there. Always. Even on sunny days, when the rest of the apartment was warm, the air inside that room felt like walking into a basement. I checked the vent. The heat was working. Still, the cold never lifted. At night, I'd be lying in bed and swear I could hear movement, slow, deliberate creaks from that room, like someone shifting their weight, not walking exactly, just existing. Once I even called out, thinking maybe someone was in the hall. No answer, just silence. Then things started to go missing. Nothing expensive, just little things I'd used the day before. A hairbrush I'd left on the bathroom sink, a spoon from my cereal, a candle I knew for a fact was sitting on the kitchen counter the night before. I told myself I was just tired, that unpacking had scrambled my brain, but a few times I'd find stuff back in weird places, like the spoon, which turned up inside my laundry basket. I live alone. The worst night was around 2 a.m. Binks started growling, low, steady, unbroken. A sound I'd never heard come from him before. He was sitting at the end of the hallway, completely still, staring into that cold room. His tail was puffed up like a bottle brush, and his ears were pinned flat. He looked terrified. I whispered his name, but he didn't even blink, just kept growling at the dark. That was the moment I knew something wasn't right. I turned on every light, opened every closet, checked every window and door. Nothing. No sign of anyone. But I didn't sleep that night. I stayed in bed with all the lights on, clutching the covers while Binks stood guard at the door. In the morning, I got up, groggy and jumpy. I had found the candle I'd lost days earlier. It was sitting in the center of the cold room's floor, unlit, perfectly upright, like it had been placed there. That was the last straw. I called my landlord, asked, trying to sound casual, if anyone else had ever mentioned weird things in the apartment. There was a long pause. Then he sighed and said, "Last girl who lived there, she said she felt like someone else was still inside, but we never found anyone." I didn't bother packing properly. I just shoved what I could into bags and left that same day. Binks didn't stop growling until we were halfway across town. I never went back, and I never found that hairbrush. A few weeks later, I saw a news article floating around on social media. Someone had been arrested in my old building. A man had been living in the basement, using the crawl space that connected several units. They said he'd been sneaking into apartments through vents and maintenance panels. The photo showed his face, pale and hollow-eyed, staring blankly at the camera. I recognized the shirt he was wearing. It was mine. Hey there, Nocturnals. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to never miss a video. These aren't ghost stories. These actually happened. Keep watching to find out what really went wrong. My neighborhood is pretty quiet. It's the kind of suburb where you know your neighbors, even if you don't talk much. Across the street from me lived Mr. Andel, retired, mid-70s, wore the same red flannel and baseball cap almost every day. He had a routine, out on his porch by 8 a.m., trimming hedges by 3, back inside by sunset. Predictable, harmless. We weren't close, but we always waved. He once helped me carry groceries when my hands were full. Kind of guy you feel safe living across from. Then one night, I woke up around 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I got up to grab some water. And when I glanced out the window, I saw it. His porch light was on. That wasn't normal. The next night, same thing. Porch light on. And this time, a single light glowing in his upstairs window. I saw a shadow moving back and forth, pacing like someone deep in thought. I figured maybe he couldn't sleep, maybe something was wrong. I didn't want to pry, but then it kept happening. Every night, lights on, movement. One night I even thought I saw someone standing in the yard, just behind a tree. But when I blinked, they were gone. Andel's house started to feel strange. It was too quiet during the day, too active at night. Something had inverted. A week passed. I hadn't seen Mr. Andel during the day at all. No gardening, no mail check, no walks. His car didn't move. Once I swore I saw the curtain twitch, but no one was visible inside. So finally, I called the non-emergency line and asked if someone could check on him. The police came the next morning. I watched from my window as they knocked, waited, knocked again, then finally went in with the key from the landlord. What they found still makes my skin crawl. Mr. Andel had been dead for at least 5 days. Natural causes, passed away in his sleep. Peaceful, they said. But here's the part that no one can explain. His lights were turning on and off. Things were being moved around. Neighbors had heard pacing footsteps upstairs. One swore they heard the microwave beep. But the police found only one set of footprints inside the home. They said there was evidence someone else had been staying there after he died. No one knows who, or why, or how they got in. But when the cops reviewed doorbell footage from nearby homes, they spotted something from a few nights earlier. Around 3 a.m., a person stepped out of Mr. Andel's back door, stood completely still, looking out into the street, and then slowly turned and walked back inside. Things never felt normal on our street again. New videos every Thursday and Sunday. See you there.